uh, welcome to this fantastic evening. Whoops, yes, I'm unmuted now. Can everybody hear me all right?
Yep.
Yes, yeah. I'd like to welcome everybody to this wonderful evening of remembrance for Tim Southwell-Keely. And in talking around with other Rotary clubs, everyone has said they've never heard of a club doing something like this. But for me, this is a really wonderful and natural extension of the long relationship and love that Tim had for Rotary in general and this club in particular. So I'm hoping that this evening will be an evening of fond remembrance. Yes, we are sad to see our good friend Tim pass to a greater life, but we also, as the wonderful invitation to the ceremony on Friday said, that he would also want us to have joy and love and fond remembrances of him. And I'm certainly hoping that will come out this evening. Having said that, at the same time, I'd like to, I'd like to remind our club also that another lovely and longtime member, Jim Papadakis, the Golden Greek, also passed away this last week. And those of you that knew Jim well, and I did not, recognized him as a wonderful and courteous gentleman. So I'd like to start this wonderful night of remembrance for all of us to have a minute of silence, both for Tim and for Jim, so that we can fondly, in our prayers and thoughtfulness, remember them. So I'm going to ask for 1 minute of silence. I will be the keeper, and let your mind just come to your recollection of the fond memories and feelings that you hold for both of these men.
You're looking at him too. Love so much. I know.
Thank you all so much for that moment and that minute of silence. It's amazing, isn't it, when you just sort of disassociate yourself and don't hear anything, how a minute passes so quickly and yet so long. So this evening, we are going to start our wonderful remembrance with just a few, as I said, announcements here. First of all, I guess it goes without saying that we're delighted to have Elaine and Kate with us this evening. Thank you so much. I know that this is a difficult time, but thank you for sharing both the remembrances and hopefully sharing the joy with us too. So we really thank you for bringing a special vista to this evening. Having said that, I've asked 5 of Tim's very close friends to speak. One of them, let's see if, is Michael Brown online? Yes, he is. Michael Brown, coming to us from Queensland. who will be fondly remembering Tim rather. And it's wonderful to see you, Michael. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm going to start the evening by asking his very good and dear friend, Warwick Nelson, who asked to go first, which I thought was very, very special. First is special. And as I was reminded, for all of you that did not know Tim, as I was reminded last Sunday morning, respect between generations is always helpful. So that's a good thing to remember for some of you younger people that did not know Tim. I did not know Tim all that well, but respect is something that we're reminded to focus and to honor. So, Warwick,
Thomas, could I just say
yes,
something?
yes.
On your runner sheet, you've got Kate and Elaine are going to go first.
Oh well,
So I think that'd be more appropriate.
Well, we can certainly do that. I understood that they did not want to have the first comments, but
Okay. All right.
Kate, I'm certainly open to any comments that you would want to make, or you can circle around and do them at the end. I'm asking sort of what your preference is. Yeah.
It's no different, makes no difference to us, but look, from my point of view, Rotary was a huge part of my father's life. I was a teenager when we had our first Rotary exchange student from Japan come stay with us for 3 months. And look, his dedication to his Rotary Club was very strong. I accompanied him to many functions, and look, he loved his service with you guys. It was where he met Elaine. So yes, for obvious reasons, it's a special connection. And look, as a family, we've had a pretty tough. It's been very tough this last 6 months. And although we are broken, we are relieved that he managed to not have any pain until the end, which is great. And he's at peace now. So we're grateful that his illness didn't extend for longer than it did. He was a very colourful character, and he had amazing resilience. He had pancreatic cancer, which normally is a 3-month sentence, and he's lasted for 3 years. So that's a testament to his strength and his it was an amazing sort of outcome, really. All his doctors were amazed. He worked right up until last November. He was still trudging off to the office 6 days a week until last November. An amazing man. And yeah, we are pretty broken and grieving at the moment, but we will get through this together. And he wouldn't want us to be sad. He would want us to be remembering all the good times and the funny times, because he was a pretty funny guy in many ways. So, yeah, that's sort of all from us. Don't you think, Elaine, have you got anything?
Can I say something? I went to a clairvoyant to ask her what my life was going to be. And she said to me, your soulmate has a law card over his head and you already know him. And the friend that I was with, when I told her, I'd taken her to Rotary the week before. And she said to me, what about that lawyer that you introduced me to? I said, Tim Southwell-Keely, you're joking. And that's what happened.
22 years later, here we are.
Hmm.
So
That's
yeah,
a wonderful story, Elaine, because I think that once again, you know, the connections that you make in life that are the most significant are sometimes the ones that are almost accidental in a way. They're almost meant to be, aren't they? And
Yes.
I think that's a fabulous reflection on both you and Tim and your relationship. I think it's great. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Wonderful. Let me ask you, Kate, as a daughter, if someone were to say to you, Kate, what is the what when you talk about your father, what's the thing that pops into your mind, you know, straight out?
oh, look, it's a bit hard at the moment because the last few months have been very tough. But
Mhm.
I would like to be able to get back to the place of remembering him as that, a glass of red wine in his hand and laughing and joking and just a funny guy. He was a kind, he wasn't, how would I describe him? He just liked everybody to be having a good time. He wanted to make sure that everybody was having a good time. And yeah, that's how I'd like to be able to remember him. At the moment, everything's just a bit raw. I've gone to see the funeral home today. I'm still pretty raw. I was actually away when he passed away. So yeah, I haven't even sat down to sort of think through all my thoughts really. Everything's a bit skew-if, but yeah, glass of red wine in his hand and ensuring that everybody was having a good time and that everybody's glasses were full and people were happy, enjoying themselves, comfortable, and yeah. And he liked doing stupid things. As a younger man, he had a reputation for dancing on tables in restaurants. You know, that was his thing. He was just, you know, a bit of a crazy guy. So that's the guy, you know, he was funny. Even though he had that serious lawyer side of him, there's another side that was quite funny without sort of even meaning to be funny. So
That's great. That's great. Well, hopefully tonight will be, I recognize things are very raw. That's the way that life sort of helps us to get over things. So we're going to move on and let some of the people in our club who knew Tim also relate their experiences and look at this as a process of healing and getting back to a fond remembrance without the rawness.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
Warwick, I'm going to ask you to start and
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So this is my reflection on Tim Southwell-Keely. So Kate and Elaine, this is probably really for you, and of course the other people here, and hopefully other people listen to this post. Time goes on, and I guess we'll have a bit of a catch up at the funeral. Have a glass of red with you.
Absolutely. That's exactly what he wanted.
Yeah,
He told me.
I figured that out. Yeah, I know him pretty well. Not sorry, I knew him pretty well. So if I go on too long, you can cut me short, okay? So I had the pleasure of knowing Tim as three parts: a personal friend, my lawyer. By the way, I saw him in late July. He was still acting for me on something, and through Rotary. So there's three avenues, if you like. So I'll go the first one first. So Tim called me Walker, and I called him Young Tim. He had a boyish face, was a bit of a rakish character, which the girls liked, and he liked to drink, party, and good times with food, wine, and laughter. That's Tim. Tim had a very good legal mind. He was serious solving legal problems at hand. And he also operated with chaos.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'll tell you a little story, which probably you'll remember, Elaine. So we would go out somewhere, the Bourbon and Beefsteak or some other place, and we have some drinks and a bit of laughter and a bit of fun. And invariably, Tim would have under his arm, he'd have a soft briefcase with all his very important legal papers, which he had to do that night, by the way,
Yeah.
the next morning. But after about 9 drinks, he couldn't do anything. So he invariably would leave his briefcase at wherever he was or I was. And more than once, I was the person who had to go and find the briefcase and return it to him because he had no idea what he'd done with it. Literally, he had not a clue. He could have left it in the taxi. He could have left it anywhere, the men's toilet. So I had to run around all over the place to find the briefcase and get it back to him. So that's Tim in the chaos. But on the other side of things, with his legal mind, he really got down to it when it really was serious. He took it very seriously, and he wasn't into the laughter side of things. And he looked after some of my things very well, particularly legal contracts about employment and termination and contracts with the major clients. So he was very good at getting all those together. So Tim, good and chaos. So places that come to mind that we really went to and having long lunches at the squadron at Kirribilli. Tim's 60th birthday on a camping 4WD trip up in the Blue Mountains. Elaine, you were there?
Yes, yes.
And that was with the Martin, Tony, Bernie and Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And also, of course, Helen, myself and Tim and Elaine. And that was a lovely 3 days bumping around.
Yes, it was.
It was really good and quiet, and we had campfires, we had damper, and we cooked around the campfire, and it was lovely. So I remember that very clearly, and so did Helen. We had lovely lunches at the fish house at Woi Woi, Rotary dinner, fully catered for, dinner at Tim Mullane's house at Cremorne. That was very special, a lot of effort. Elaine did it after having a double knee replacement, so God knows how she got around to putting all that together. It was a big effort for you, Elaine, but it was wonderful. And also we spent time with you at Kilcare at your house, Elaine.
Yes, that's right.
And I think one night we had an impossible amount of wine. We got up in the morning and went for a walk on the beach, but it was a lovely spot. And I know that that means something very much to you, Elaine.
Yes, thank you.
And of course, Tim and Elaine's wedding at Neutral Bay was a glittering affair. I have to tell you, it was a very lovely, high-class wedding there at Neutral Bay on the water.
It was.
It was almost a fairy tale type number. It was really something. So that was special. So I'm talking about the lawyer now. Tim had 3 different legal practices, and I participated in all of them. So I've got a bit of info on him and things I'm not telling about. But Tim was in practice at Double Bay for, I think, about 15 years with an older lawyer who kept Tim on the straight and narrow. And I think that really gave him a good grounding, how to run a business. And the second episode was when Tim formed Southwell-Keely Law and practiced for 18 years, mainly at Barrack Street in the city. So I don't know if anybody's been to his offices there in the city, but he had 2 units in Barrack Street. And I spent many times in there having meetings with him and having a glass of red every now and again as well. The third was when Tim merged with Owen Hodge Lawyers. It was for 10 years. So basically, he got absorbed into the business, but he ran his own legal practice within Owen Hodge. And I went in there quite a few times. So Tim really did some pretty important things for me. One of them, as I just explained, was looking after my business's legal affairs, getting that. When I got into trouble, I went and saw him. And then on one matter, for my mother's estate and her family, she had a very complex matter, which really was a big conundrum. It took 2 or 3 years to sort out, and Tim, through just sheer perseverance, drilled into it and found the key, and we got that sorted, and my mother got her estate sorted out. So he was very good when he really had to get the nitty-gritty sorted. And the third area I'd like to talk about is the Rotary side of Tim. So Tim joined King's Cross in 1982 as a Rotarian for 39 years, served in many executive roles in the leadership team. He was president 1998-99, and of course he's a past president, Paul Harris fellow. Tim was an excellent advocate for Rotary and the community, and particularly youth, and Elaine was very big on youth as well, and helped get the Rotary markets up and running, which made excellent money for the club while it ran. Now, I'd like to talk about Elaine too, because she's an important part of this. So, Elaine Smith, as she was known then, joined the King's Cross in 1994. And Elaine, I think, if I got this right, Elaine, correct me if I'm wrong, you were at the Garvin Institute in the fundraising department.
Yes.
Is that right?
St Vincent's Hospital, yes.
Oh, St Vincent, sorry, I got that wrong. St Vincent's Hospital, yeah. So Elaine was asked to come on to the meeting. She then joined the King's Cross, as I say, in 1994. She became the first woman president of our club in 1999-2000.
That's right.
Which was a big move for us because we had some silly old buggers in the club and we had to straighten out a bit. Correct, Elaine?
Yep, correct.
So, and of course, while she was in the club, she met Tim, and as Elaine said, she saw that lawyer over there, and anyway, the rest is history. So, from my point of view, they became wife and husband, and a very happy marriage. And many stories could be told through the Rotary times and elsewhere, but not enough time for me tonight. But very good memories. Thanks.
Thank you, Warwick.
That was lovely, Warwick. Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Warwick. That was beautiful. I knew in the back of my mind that Elaine was the first woman president, and there's a lot of intersections coming forth tonight. One of the things that you said, if I can just quickly comment on it, is that Tim had a great interest in youth, and our club is certainly continuing that tradition by our support of Plunkett Street and the way that we will be moving into the First Nation children down in Redfern. So thank you so much, Warwick, for that. And it's lovely to hear, Elaine, it's lovely to hear you dialogue in between. I think that's really really great. So continuing with this tradition, I've asked next Ray Aiken if he would say just a few words about Tim. Ray, are you there?
Ray, where are you? Oh.
Just a second. I see him. He's probably muted. Ray, can you unmute yourself? There you go.
Where am I? I can't
There
see.
There you are.
There you are.
Am I there? Where?
Yeah, we can see you, Ray. Just start talking.
Okay.
Okay.
My story on Tim is very simple and not very long. Tim made me laugh. Every time I saw him, I was expecting a smile. I've never seen him not smiling. And I actually did some legal work with him. And he was smiling then. So I assumed he was very, very happy all the time. I was only ever privy to a couple of the briefcase matters with Elaine. I was there that night, running around after him. I think Elaine was quietly having a drink and let him find it. He found it eventually, and that was very comforting that he found his briefcase. The ability to make me smile is not that hard, but it's very rarely when you get it all the time, every time you meet the man. And I'm talking about a smile of genuine friendship and happiness and pleasure. And that sort of sums up Tim to me. I was going to talk tonight about the number of Rotarians we have, which is 1.4 million, 46,000 clubs. And tonight we're talking about Tim. It was obviously one of the best. And I'd like to remember him in that beautiful, happy laughter matter. And I also remember Elaine commenting on one of our then members when she was joining, was asked by the man's wife, was she going to kiss her husband? I couldn't see any logic in that, but it seemed a good point. So that's a nice little part of the story. That's about all I'd like to say. Many people want to say the same thing, I'm sure, but I genuinely miss him, and I really do appreciate his firm friendship and kindness. That's
Oh,
it.
thank you.
Thank you,
That's
Ray.
really lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you so much, Ray. That's a great legacy, isn't it? He makes me smile all the time. That's beautiful. I've asked next if Richard McDonald would also say a few words about his love and relationship with Tim. Richard, are you with us?
Thank you, Thomas. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I first met Tim when he joined the Rotary Club. A past member who's been long gone, Adrian De Winter, introduced him, I think, didn't he, Elaine, into the club? And Adrian was a bit of a character, and of course he introduced another character, which was Tim, or TSK as I always called him. And Tim joined the club. He was president of the club the year after I was, and I think then Elaine was president the year after that. And I think the romance was blooming there when I was president, because I think we weren't allowed to say anything, were we, for a while. It was a bit of a secret, but then of course it became public knowledge, and it has been a great relationship. Yeah, I think Tim was always, as his daughter said, I think he was under that lawyer's looks and behaviour, was an absolute reprobate. And
Yes.
a man that loved to drink red wine, and he was always in for fun. And a few times, I remember when he was over at Double Bay, there in his office at Double Bay, I think we had we used to have those fellowships after work in those days, and we had a fellowship at Tim's office there in Double Bay. And I think we sort of finished that, and then we moved over the road, I think, to the Oak, and then probably into the Piano Bar at the Wentworth till all hours of the night, and probably ended up at the bourbon and beefsteak, you know.
Yes.
That's the only place you get a drink after midnight. And I shouldn't tell Elaine this, but Tim was chatting up Carlotta up at the bourbon.
Yes.
So that was fun. And then of course we always Tim always had this saying, and I don't know where it came from, but he had the best body in Double Bay. And, and of course, he was a very young chap. He had lots of hair and, you know, I mean, he's a couple of years older than me, and he still had a good head of hair. But he's a terrific guy, had a lot of fun. I remember we went over to Western Australia, down to the deep south there with Martin Conies and you guys, Tim and Elaine, and we had some few wild nights then and sampled a lot of the wine from the Great Southern. Yeah, and he was a good Rotarian, and he was always keen to get in and do something, and he was a very competent and a very judicial, maybe I should say, lawyer, and he did a couple of jobs for me. Always did them at mates' rates, which was nice. So I always, you know, have some fond memories of Tim, of TSK, and may he rest in peace.
Thank you. That was lovely.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, Richard. That was very, very nice. I'm jotting down one word that I hear from each one of these friends and fond remembrances, and what I heard from Richard, from other people too, was the word fun. So we'll put these all together at the end and see if we can come up with sort of a matrix. Next, coming to us from Queensland is Michael Brown. Michael, thank you so much for sharing this wonderful occasion with us. Always good to hear from you again. And I know that you and Tim, like the rest of our participants tonight, had a long and fond memory of Tim. Would you come on and share those with us?
And he's with our second lady president too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
There
very
he is.
true.
And Lynn too. Hi, Lynn.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
I first met Tim in Barrack Street. I was in Rose Bay Club at the time, and invited in to meet this man, Southwell-Keely. And I knew the name because I think I must have taught a nephew or something like that at Cranbrook. And so we went in.
Yes, you would have.
Yes, that's right. Well received, of course. He was doing big things at district, and I think I was just coming in as president of Rose Bay. Then later on, Lynn and I came to King's Cross because we lived across the road. It was a hell of a lot closer than going down to Rose Bay. And, you know, that's where I really got to know Tim and Elaine, of course. And my favourite memory, apart from the smiling, always sort of happy, well met type of man, was that he never carried any money. He was like the Queen. And so when it came to, you know, the fines time, he used to have to sort of borrow something from Elaine.
I always asked Elaine for the money, never asked him.
So what everyone else has said, I couldn't agree more. And well, as you say, he lasted 4 years longer than the doctor said he would. So well done.
Thank you.
Elaine, or excuse me, Lynn, I keep forgetting that you two are the other his and her presidents in the club. And Lynn, I wondered if you would care to just share a few words of reflection. As I say, the second half of the his and hers, you knew Tim rather well too.
Did Tim ever support the line dancing idea?
No, he may have, yes, but I think he wanted to do it on the table.
Lynn wanted us very much to be line dancing. I remember that was it. I
Yes,
couldn't get very
that's right.
enthusiastic about it. It was a good idea, but
Yeah. Hey, I might come back on you with that now. I've just remembered. Yeah, I remember the club itself was on the sort of outskirts of the city, wasn't it?
At King's Cross.
At King's, not at King's Cross. Oh, I'm just trying to think. The main road that it was on.
The Darlinghurst Road.
Darlinghurst Road,
Yeah.
yeah. It was Darlinghurst Road, I think.
Victoria.
Yeah.
Victoria.
Victoria Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you went down Darlinghurst Road, you ended up with Carlotta. That was the trouble.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many
Well,
years? How many years is that since now? Is it?
Well, a lot.
It seems to be a lot, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Once again, thank you, both of you, so much for sharing your reflections all the way from Queensland. It's really great that you could be with us tonight on this unique
you
and
for having
special
Oh,
night.
yes, it is
No.
nice that we could be together, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So coming to the last wonderful friend to share is Kenneth. Kenneth, thank you so much for agreeing to go last. Just like Warwick wanted to go first, Kenneth wanted to go last. So I'm sure that there's a reason for that, Ken. So I'm going to just turn it over to you.
Good on you. Thank you, Thomas. Elaine and Kate, great to greet you, and my condolences and love to you both at this time.
Thank you.
I first remember Tim when the East Sydney Club joined King's Cross. Tim and yourself were the first to come over and really welcome us and extend the hand of friendship and joining together. I recall that really clearly. And from then on, he had a sort of very special relationship with, I think, bedding us into the club. You know, we weren't coming in as equals, we're coming in as sort of a merged situation. And I really valued that. At that time, he and you were very involved in the youth, and that was always on my heart. And I sought both of your counsel and a lot in the area of youth. I found it very warm, very sincere, and a lot of fun, as people have said tonight. He's always, you know, that extension of being a person of personality and fun, and never saw him mad, you know. He never had a tough word. The other thing that I recall very much was that when we were sort of renewing the markets relationship with the city council, he was very involved in the negotiations. Chris is nodding there.
Yeah.
Very long drawn out negotiations with the Lord Mayor's office and her people, and it was very time consuming, and I think he handled that quite skillful at the time, because we were standing to lose it from time to time, and I think we probably got an extra 3 or 4 years out of it through his expertise and his professionalism. So that was a very big contribution to the life of the club. So we thank you for that. I think when I think of Tim, I always think of Elaine. You're a real partnership.
Oh, thank you.
And I think, you know, you were meant to be together. It was a great relationship. And I would just want to express our love for you and our prayerful support, and that we want to keep in touch with you. And thank you for sharing Tim with us through the journey of Rotary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Special thank you.
Okay, once again, that was very nice, very lovely. Does anyone else in the club, before we move on, have anything that they would like to say about Tim, out there? I mean, most of you had contact with him one way or another. So if anybody would just like to make some fleeting comments at this point, or share some reflections, we're certainly open to that. Okay, if not, I'd like to just briefly thank Elaine and Kate for joining us this evening. I think that one of the things that was lovely was that this was much more of a dialogue between good friends in remembrance. And I think that whenever people said things that you remembered, it's always wonderful to sort of nod your head and have that fond remembrance. For the rest of the club members, I'd just like to bring three things to your attention. We will be having our first social in the sky this next Sunday, March the 6th, at Pete Merzak's residence up on the roof. Each one of you have received an invitation, and Dave Sharma will be joining us on that Sunday afternoon from 1 to 3. It'll be short, but it'll be important because it's the first time in literally 2 years that we've had an opportunity to get together face to face. So I urge all of you to take advantage of that wonderful opportunity and let us know that you're coming so that we can adequately plan for you. Secondly, between now and our next meeting, we have an astounding 5 birthdays. This is really incredible. On the 1st of March, we have Max Whidbey. On the 7th of March, we have Mark Swain. On the 8th of March, Richard, your birthday. So thank you for speaking this evening, and we'll recognize your birthday as well. And on the 12th of March, we have a double dose tonight. Warwick, it will be your birthday. So thank you for speaking this evening and happy birthday. And on the 13th of March, the 8th, the 12th, and 13th, our newest father, David Columbro, will be having his birthday. And Dale and I had a chance to see his lovely little daughter. She's just beautiful. Andrea, a lovely little child. She's now just about 2 weeks old, brand new. So hopefully she'll be showing up at the social as well. So I urge all of you to come. Again, thank you so much, Elaine and Kate, for joining us this evening.
I'd just like to say thank you so much on behalf of Elaine and I. We're truly touched and grateful, and yeah, really appreciate it. It's been lovely, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Can I just say, the Rotary Club of King's Cross has played a huge part in my life, and I will always be so thankful that I came to know the Rotary Club through the bed race.
Oh, right.
Yes. About that.
Because I was the fundraising manager at St. Vincent's Hospital when Victor Chang was murdered. And the Rotary Club came to me and said, we want the next bed race, which is next month, to be in honour of Victor Chang. So that's how I got to know the Rotary Club. So I thank you all very much for your love and support and your wonderful thoughts of my beloved. Thank you.
And guys, we would obviously love anybody to attend his funeral on Friday, but I have a Zoom link for those who don't feel confident in terms of the COVID situation or who are in Queensland or other places. So I will email that through to Dale. I've had that all finalised today, and then she can distribute it through your network to anybody that would like to join us on Zoom so that you can be there as well. Tim's wish was for his service to be quick, funny and lighthearted. He didn't want people sitting around being sad, and we would love you to join us in that sentiment on Friday at 1:30. So let me know if, Dale, I'll send that through to you anyway, that Zoom link.
Yeah, and Kate will distribute that Zoom link to everybody in the club. And I just want to also invite Elaine and Kate too, for that matter, to stay in touch with our club. You're on our mailing list. You're welcome to join us in any of our meetings, whether face-to-face or Zoom. And we like to think that we have really relevant topics that are worth the time and as well and the club fellowship. So Elaine, we're hoping that you will continue to stay in touch. And Michael and Lynn, so good to see you. And once again, technology doesn't excuse anybody from being more absent than they want to. So having said all of this and having thanked all of our participants this evening, and a special thanks and prayers and condolences to you two. I'm going to ask Pete if he will give us the four-way test, lead us through the four-way test. I'm going to ask if he will mute everybody and we will follow him. So Pete, if you will mute and start the four-way test, we will be very grateful.
Is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Is it
Concerned.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
goodwill?
Goodwill,
Better
friendship.
friendships.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Will it be beneficial?
Beneficial to all concerned.
To Rotary, Australia and the Queen.
Rotary.
To Rotary, Australia, and Queen.
Yeah.
And in parting, can there be a better encapsulation of Tim's values and life than the four-way test? So thank you all so much for this wonderful evening. Thank you, Pete, for hosting. Thank you, Browns, for joining us. And I just want to remind everybody, board meeting next week, and it is open to anyone who chooses to attend online. Thank you again, everyone. This has been fantastic. Pete, you want to end the recording now?